the unexpected crash. The sky was clear, and the sun shone brightly over the forest. Birds sang sweet songs as a light breeze blew through the trees. But suddenly, the peace was broken by a loud sound, like thunder cracking across the sky. The birds scattered, and the trees shook. Something big was coming down from above, fast. A small ship, no bigger than a large car, crashed through the clouds. The ship looked strange, shiny and metal, with glowing blue lights flickering on its sides. It was spinning as it fell, and smoke and fire followed it down. The ship crashed into the thick forest below with a loud crash, sending dirt and branches flying everywhere. In the middle of all the chaos, the small ship lay still. The smoke began to clear, and there, on the ground, was a tiny figure. She was barely visible at first, but soon she stood up shakily, her small body covered in dust. She had pointed ears, pale skin, and large eyes that were wide with fear. She was an alien. The alien girl looked around, breathing heavily, her heart pounding in her chest. She had been flying the ship alone. She had only one mission: to find a new planet, a new place for her people to live. But now she had crashed on this strange world. She didn't know where she was, and she didn't know what to do next. She stumbled through the forest, her eyes scanning the trees around her. Everything seemed so different from the world she had known. The trees were tall and thick, their leaves a deep green. Strange flowers with bright colors grew in patches along the forest floor. The air smelled fresh, but it was also strange, different from the air on her home planet. Her mind raced. She had heard stories about this planet, Earth, the stories told of dangerous creatures, monsters that lived in the wild, creatures that would eat anything that moved. The alien girl had always feared humans and other creatures on this planet. She had heard about their sharp teeth, their loud voices, and their terrible power. Now she was here, alone, far from her people. What if the stories were true? What if the humans really were monsters? What if she wasn't safe here at all? The alien girl crouched low to the ground, hiding behind a tree. She had no idea where to go. She couldn't just stay here, exposed. But she couldn't move without knowing if it was safe. Every sound seemed to make her jump. Every rustling leaf or crack of a branch could be a monster coming to get her. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. The alien girl's heart skipped a beat. The sound was coming closer, getting louder. She looked through the trees and saw shadows moving. She couldn't see who or what it was, but she was sure it was a human. The stories she had heard filled her mind. Humans were monsters. They were dangerous. She had to hide. She turned and ran as fast as her little legs would carry her. Her breath came in sharp gasps as she darted between trees and jumped over fallen branches. She was terrified. She didn't know what to do. She was all alone, and she had no idea where to go. She couldn't go back to the crash site. If the humans found her there, it would be over. The alien girl found a small clearing in the woods. It was quiet here, and she could hide more easily. She crouched low to the ground, hoping the humans wouldn't find her. She listened carefully, her big eyes wide with fear. The footsteps were getting closer, too close. She needed to stay hidden. Her mind raced again. What should she do? Should she run further into the forest? Should she try to fly the ship again? But she wasn't sure how to fix it. It was broken, and she didn't know how to make it work. Besides, she was too small. She had to survive on her own. The alien girl took a deep breath and hugged her knees close to her chest. She had to be brave. She had to trust that she could survive. She had to hide until she figured out what to do. but the fear was overwhelming. The fear of being found, of being eaten by the monsters. She closed her eyes, trembling. She couldn't do this alone. She needed help, but where would that help come from? As the footsteps came closer, the alien girl's thoughts raced. She couldn't stay here forever. Sooner or later, the humans would find her. She had to make a choice. Would she face them now, or stay hidden until she knew it was safe? The first encounter, the alien girl crouched low to the ground, her small, delicate body trembling with fear. The sound of footsteps grew louder, each step sending a shock of panic through her. She could no longer tell if the approaching figure was one of the monsters she had been warned about. Her heart pounded in her chest, and her mind screamed for her to run, to escape before it was too late, but her legs felt frozen, as though they could no longer carry her. The forest around her seemed to close in, the trees stretching their branches, like reaching fingers, trapping her in place. She had no place to hide, no escape route. It was just her and the unknown that was getting closer by the second. Then she saw movement. A small figure appeared through the thick trees, not a monster, but something completely unexpected, a human. A girl. She was young, with brown hair that swayed in the breeze and curious, wide eyes. The girl stopped suddenly when she spotted the alien hiding behind the bushes. Her gaze lingered for a moment, unsure of what she was seeing. The alien girl held her breath, eyes wide with terror. She had heard the stories, of course. Humans were ruthless. They would take anything they could get, and that often meant taking lives, too. The alien girl was sure this human would be no different. Her mind raced as she thought of how to defend herself, if it came to that, but the human girl didn't move forward aggressively. Instead, she slowly knelt down, her expression softening. She didn't look dangerous at all. In fact, she seemed almost curious. The alien girl couldn't understand it. She had been taught that all humans were dangerous, but here was one who seemed to show no sign of wanting to harm her. The human girl spoke, but the words didn't make sense to the alien. The language was strange, foreign, and unfamiliar. Yet there was something gentle about the way the girl spoke. Her tone was calm, not sharp or harsh. The alien girl hesitated, her fear battling with the unfamiliar warmth in the human's voice. She stayed hidden, unsure if she should trust what she was seeing. Could this girl really be different from the others? Could humans actually be kind? The human girl extended her hand slowly, holding something in her palm. It was food, some kind of fruit, perhaps. The alien girl's eyes widened in confusion. Why would a human offer food? Was this a trick? Was the girl trying to lure her out of hiding, only to trap her? The alien girl shook her head, her fear still gripping her heart. She didn't know what to do. The food looked fresh, sweet, and safe. But nothing about this planet felt safe to her. Her people had warned her about the dangers of trusting others. They said humans were unpredictable. Still, something about the situation felt different. The human girl wasn't rushing toward her. She wasn't showing any signs of aggression. In fact, she seemed to be waiting, giving the alien girl time to make a decision. The alien girl took a deep breath. Maybe, just maybe, this human wasn't the monster she had imagined. But how could she know for sure? For a long moment, the alien girl just watched, her eyes locked on the hand that held the food. She was torn between instinct and curiosity, between fear and hope. Could this be the moment she had been waiting for? The moment that could change everything? A glimpse of hope. The alien girl's heart raced as she stared at the human girl, still holding out the fruit in her palm. Her mind screamed at her to run, to flee before it was too late, but something inside her hesitated. The human girl's expression was calm. Her eyes filled with something the alien couldn't quite understand, something that wasn't fear or malice. For what felt like an eternity, the alien girl simply watched. She wasn't sure what to do. The stories she had heard on her home planet, the ones that painted humans as cruel monsters, seemed far away now, like something from a dream. The human girl, who should have been a threat, didn't seem so frightening anymore. Slowly, carefully, the alien girl inched forward, her tiny feet brushing the soft grass beneath her. She didn't dare come any closer, not yet. But she could smell the fruit, the sweet, fragrant aroma drifting toward hand. It made her stomach growl. She was starving. The human girl smiled gently, as if sensing the alien's hunger. "It's okay," she said softly, though the alien couldn't understand the words. But there was something in her voice that told the alien girl this human meant no harm. Her soft tone was almost soothing. The alien girl's trembling fingers reached out, almost on their own, and touched the fruit. For a moment, the alien girl's breath caught in her chest. The touch was enough to send a wave of warmth through her. Was this really happening? Was she really going to eat something given to her by a human? Her fear still tugged at her, but the curiosity and hunger were stronger now. The human girl, seeing that the alien girl was hesitant, slowly set the fruit down in front of her. She backed away a few steps, giving the tiny alien girl space. The alien girl stared at the food, her hand hovering above it, unsure. For a long time, she had been taught that trust was a dangerous thing, especially on a foreign planet like Earth. She had been warned not to trust humans. But the stories had never mentioned anything like this, the way the human girl had looked at her. Not with fear or greed, but with kindness. Taking a deep breath, the alien girl picked up the fruit. Her hands shook slightly, but she was determined. She bit into it, and the sweet taste exploded in her mouth. It was unlike anything she had ever tasted before, fresh and delicious. For a moment, she forgot about her fear, lost in the simple joy of eating. The human girl watched from a distance, still silent, but now with a look of relief on her face. She didn't approach the alien, but there was a softness in her gaze, a kind of understanding that spoke louder than words. The alien girl finished the fruit, feeling a little better, though her mind was still clouded with uncertainty. What now? What did this mean? Had she misjudged humans all along? Or was this just the calm before the storm? The human girl knelt down again, this time sitting cross-legged a little farther away. Her posture open and non-threatening. She didn't say anything, but her presence felt comforting, almost like an invitation to trust, if the alien girl was willing. The alien girl's eyes narrowed slightly. She wasn't sure if she could trust this human yet. But one thing was clear. For the first time since she had crashed, she didn't feel completely alone. She felt safer. The human girl smiled again, that same soft smile. And for the first time, the alien girl felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this planet than the stories had told her. Maybe not all humans were monsters. Trusting the unknown, the days that followed felt like a blur of strange and new experiences. The alien girl had never imagined she would spend so much time with a human, let alone feel the weight of the soft, warm ground beneath her as she sat beside one. But here she was, watching as the human girl tended to a small fire, her face glowing softly in the light. It was surreal, like a dream that seemed impossible to wake from. The alien girl had never been so close to another creature, let alone a human. At first, every sound, every movement, had sent her heart racing, making her jump at even the smallest noise. The human girl had been patient with her, not rushing, not forcing her to do anything. She had simply been there, showing kindness without asking for anything in return. But that kindness was not without its doubts. Despite all the food, the gentle words, the soothing presence, the alien girl's fear still lingered deep within her. Every time the human girl reached out, even in friendship, a cold shiver ran through the alien girl's body. Could she really trust a human? She had heard so many stories, warnings from her own people. Humans could be cruel. They could deceive, trick, and destroy. Yet here she was, sitting across from a human, watching her carefully cut small pieces of fruit to share. Her hands were steady, her eyes never once flickering with aggression. The alien girl's mind raced, questioning every action, every gesture. Could the kindness of this one human be a sign of something larger? Was it possible that not all humans were monsters? The human girl handed her a piece of fruit, the same fruit she had shared before. This time, there was no hesitation in the alien girl's movement as she reached out to take it. It felt ... different this time. The alien girl's trembling hand, once filled with uncertainty, now moved with more purpose. She accepted the offering, but there was something else she wanted to ask, the question that had been eating away at her since she first arrived. The alien girl took a deep breath. She couldn't avoid it any longer. Why ... Why are you helping me? She asked, her voice soft but steady. She had learned a few words from the human girl over the past few days, and although her pronunciation was rough, the meaning was clear. The human girl paused, looking at the alien girl with a gentle smile that spoke volumes. She didn't seem surprised by the question at all. Instead, she simply shrugged as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Because you need help, and because it's the right thing to do. The alien girl's eyes widened. It was the simplicity of the answer that left her speechless. In her world, in her culture, kindness was not often extended so freely. People only helped others when there was something in it for them, something to gain. But this human girl didn't seem to want anything in return. She had simply offered help because the alien needed it. The alien girl's mind whirled. Could it really be this simple? Was kindness something that could exist without hidden motives? Could humans truly be so different from the monsters she had been warned about? The human girl smiled again, her eyes sparkling with warmth. She seemed to sense the alien girl's internal struggle. "You're safe here," she said quietly, almost as if she were assuring herself as much as the alien girl. "I won't hurt you." The alien girl swallowed hard. She wanted to believe those words, to feel the safety that the human girl was offering. But there was still so much fear, so much doubt. How could she be so sure? How could she trust a human when she had been taught to fear them her entire life? But then, in a moment that was both terrifying and beautiful, the alien girl made a decision. She looked into the human girl's eyes, the uncertainty still there but less overwhelming. She took a slow breath, calming the frantic beating of her heart. She would give trust a chance. She would allow herself to believe that not all humans were monsters. For the first time since the crash, the alien girl felt a shift inside her, like a crack in the wall of fear that had been built around her heart. She reached forward, not with hesitation, but with the beginnings of belief. She accepted the human girl's kindness fully, allowing the warmth of the moment to wash over her. The threat of the unknown, the days had begun to feel less like survival and more like a strange kind of peace. The alien girl had learned the names of new plants, of animals, and most importantly, she had learned to trust. Slowly, she began to shed the thick layers of fear that had wrapped around her heart. The human girl, who had once seemed so alien and unpredictable, now felt like a constant presence in her life, a safe and steady anchor. But even in the safety of her new reality, the alien girl couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Something was shifting in the air, a low rumbling tension that she couldn't explain. The forest around them, once quiet and inviting, now seemed full of whispers, full of hidden dangers. Every crack of a branch, every rustle of the leaves made her pause. It was as though the land itself was holding its breath. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the trees, the alien girl heard it. A voice, not the soft, reassuring voice of the human girl, but something much darker. The voice was loud, deep, and rough angry. The alien girl froze, her heart thumping in her chest. The human girl, who had been gathering firewood nearby, didn't seem to notice, but the alien girl felt it something was wrong. The voice, though distant, was growing closer, and it sounded like it was calling out in search of someone or something. The alien girl's mind raced. Could it be another human? A different one that wasn't kind like the girl she had come to trust? Or was it one of the monsters from the stories she had been told? The alien girl backed away slowly, her eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of movement. The noise grew louder, and she could make out words now, though they were harsh and unintelligible to her. The voice wasn't speaking the same language, but the tone full of anger and frustration was unmistakable. The human girl turned, noticing the sudden tension in the air. She paused, her brow furrowing as she looked at the alien girl. The alien girl's eyes widened, and without thinking, she grabbed the human girl's arm, pulling her back behind the trees. Her pulse raced, her thoughts spinning. They weren't alone, and if the voice belonged to the humans, things were about to change. "Stay quiet," the alien girl whispered, her voice trembling slightly. The human girl, still confused but trusting, nodded and crouched low. They stayed hidden, watching as the shadows grew longer and the voice drew nearer. The alien girl could feel her fear growing again, the old instincts kicking in. She had been safe for so long. This was supposed to be a place where she could heal, where she could start over. But now, it felt like that safety was slipping away, like something was about to break. And then they appeared. A group of humans, maybe 4, emerged from the trees, their faces hardened and serious. They were dressed in dark clothing, carrying large packs, and their eyes scanned the area around them. They didn't look like the girl who had shown kindness. These humans had an edge to them, a sharpness that made the alien girl's blood run cold. She wanted to run, to flee as far and as fast as she could, but something held her back. The human girl was beside her, looking just as scared, her eyes wide with confusion. They couldn't run, not yet. The alien girl had to know who they were, and why they were here. The leader of the group, the one who had been shouting earlier, stopped and pointed in their direction. The alien girl's heart dropped. He was looking right at them, the human. Girl gasped softly, her hand instinctively reaching for the alien girl's. The alien girl squeezed it, trying to calm her own racing heart. They couldn't give away their position. If these humans were dangerous, if they were here to hurt them, it would all be over. The alien girl's mind raced. What would she do? Should they reveal themselves and try to speak? Should they hide and hope to remain unnoticed? Before she could decide, the leader barked an order, and the group started moving toward the area where they were hiding. The alien girl held her breath, praying that they wouldn't be found. But as the humans drew closer, she knew one thing. For certain, this was a moment she would have to face, whether she was ready or not. The world around her had just become far more dangerous than she ever imagined. The truth unvellowed. The alien girl's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the humans draw closer. The leader's footsteps now dangerously close. The forest, which had once felt so safe and welcoming, now felt like a trap. The shadows seemed to close in around her, every rustle of leaves amplifying the tension in the air. She could feel the human girl's hand shaking in hers, the fear mirrored in both their eyes. The group of humans stopped just a few feet away. The leader of the group, a tall man with a hard expression, glanced around. His eyes moved over the trees, the bushes, and the ground. Every second felt like an eternity. The alien girl's breath hitched as she squeezed the human girl's hand tighter, her mind racing for a way to escape. But then, just as the leader stepped forward, something shifted in the air. The alien girl's gaze locked with his for a brief moment. His eyes were sharp, but they weren't filled with anger, as she had expected. There was something else there, something she couldn't quite place. Then the leader spoke. "Did you hear that?" His voice was deep, gruff, but there was a hint of confusion in it. It sounded like something was out here. The alien girl's heart skipped a beat. He wasn't looking for her. He wasn't searching for something to harm. He was confused. He didn't know what he was looking for. The human girl beside her glanced up at her, her wide eyes filled with both fear and curiosity. She whispered, "What should we do?" The alien girl's mind spun. She had been trained to believe that humans could be cruel, that they could turn on you in an instant, showing no mercy. But here they were, not acting like the monsters she had feared. These humans were searching for something, not for her. For the first time since she had landed on this strange planet, a part of her began to question everything she had been taught. The leader muttered something to the others, and they began to move off in a different direction, their voices growing softer as they walked away. The alien girl barely dared to breathe. They hadn't seen them. They hadn't found them. As the last human stepped out of the clearing, the alien girl released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. The tension in her body slowly began to ease, but it didn't go away. The fear, the uncertainty, still lingered. The encounter had raised more questions than answers. She turned to the human girl, her mind racing. She had been so sure that these humans were dangerous, that they would hurt her. But what if she had been wrong? What if the stories about humans, the ones that had been passed down to her for generations, weren't entirely true? What if she had misunderstood them all along? I don't understand," the alien girl whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of her confusion. "Why didn't they hurt us? Why did they just ... leave?" The human girl looked at her, her expression soft. Maybe not all humans are the same," she said gently, her voice full of a wisdom beyond her years. "Some are kind, some are not. But you've seen it. You've seen the good in us." The alien girl's mind swirled with a mix of disbelief and hope. The words seemed impossible, yet they made sense. The kindness she had received from the human girl, was that the truth? Was that what humanity really was, deep down? The human girl smiled, her eyes filled with understanding. You've learned something today. Not all humans are monsters. The alien girl's gaze softened. For the first time, she felt a flicker of something new, something powerful. Something that had been buried under years of fear and suspicion, hope, trust. The things she had once thought were impossible were starting to feel like the truth. Could it be that humans, at their core, were capable of more than she had ever imagined? Acceptance and understanding. The sun had begun to rise, casting long golden rays through the thick trees of the forest. The air was crisp, filled with the sweet scent of morning dew. The alien girl sat on a large rock by a small stream, her legs dangling idly in the water as she watched the reflection of the trees in the clear water. It was a peaceful scene, the kind of peacefulness she never imagined she'd find here. So far from home, she had come to realize something that had slowly crept into her heart. During her time with the human girl, trust wasn't a weakness. It wasn't a dangerous thing. In fact, it had brought her closer to the truth about the humans, the truth about this world, and the truth about herself. The human girl sat beside her, humming softly as she braided flowers. Into her hair, her movements gentle and relaxed. It was a stark contrast to the tight, fearful way the alien girl had lived since arriving on this planet. But now, for the first time, the alien girl felt a strange calm within her. The fear that had driven her for so long seemed distant, almost like a shadow from another life. It no longer had the power to control her. "You've changed," the human girl said suddenly, breaking the silence. She looked over at the alien girl, her eyes soft with warmth. "You're different now." The alien girl turned to face her, the gentle stream reflecting her thoughts as they swirled in her mind. I think I'm finally starting to understand," she said, her voice quieter than usual, as if she was still coming to terms with the revelation. For so long, she had seen only monster stories of violent humans, of creatures that fed off fear, of dangers lurking in every corner. But the human girl had shown her something else. The kindness, the patience, the quiet, steady understanding. She had been shown a truth she could never have imagined. Humans, at their core, were capable of so much more than she had ever been. Taught, the alien girl took a deep breath, her chest filling with a mix of gratitude and something she had never allowed herself to feel before: hope. She had been wrong. Not all humans were monsters. Some were capable of incredible acts of kindness, even when no one was watching. As she looked into the human girl's eyes, she saw a spark of something familiar, something comforting humanity in its purest form. The girl had given her not just food and shelter, but trust. She had shown her that not all fears were justified, that some walls could be broken down, not with force, but with compassion. "Do you think I could stay here?" the alien girl asked quietly, her voice betraying a hint of uncertainty, though it was laced with something new and openness she hadn't known she was capable of before. The human girl smiled brightly, a smile that warmed the alien girl's heart. "Of course, you're welcome here. This is your home too." The alien girl let the words settle over her, the weight of them heavy and reassuring. Home. The word sounded strange on her tongue, but in that moment, it felt true. She wasn't just a stranger in a foreign land anymore. She wasn't the scared, uncertain creature who had fallen from the sky. She was someone who had found a place, a space where she could belong. As the morning sun rose higher in the sky, casting light over the forest, the alien girl finally understood. This planet, these humans, had so much to offer. Only you were brave enough to look beyond the stories and the fear. She had learned that not everything was as it seemed. Not every shadow in the dark hid danger, and not every human was a monster. The alien girl smiled softly to herself. She was no longer the same as when she had first crash-landed here. The fear, the doubt, the suspicion, they were still there, but they didn't control her anymore. Instead, she had learned to embrace what was new, to trust in what had once seemed impossible. And for the first time, she felt truly free. Free to explore, free to belong, and most importantly, free to live.